Starting with page number 86, characteristic of organisms. A journey to different habitats and discuss many plants and animals. One, we have noticed the objects, plants and animals that found in different surroundings. Suppose we stop a while and think which examples in our list are living. Let us think of examples from a forest. Now we read about the different animals and birds that were at grassland, deserts and at mountainous regions. So they all were having different adaptation and different characteristic. Now let us think of example from a forest. It is trees, creepers, small and big animals, birds, snakes, insects, rocks and soil, water, air, dry leaves, dead animals, mushrooms and mosses. Maybe only some of these objects that are present in the forest. Which of these are living? Given examples, you come to know that trees, creepers, animals, birds, snake, insects all are living, whereas rock, soil, water are non-living as they do not show growth or movement. Okay, so here we will learn about the characteristic of living organisms that separate them from abiotic factors, that is non-living. Here we learn about the characteristic of living organism, that living things respire, living things reproduce, they show growth, they show movement, they excrete waste, they respond to stimuli and also they take nutrients. So we will discuss all the topic with the explanation. So let us start with the first. Do all organisms need food? In chapter 1 and 2, we learn that all organisms, living things need food and how essential it is to animals and to us. We have also learned that plants make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants and organisms transform light energy into chemical energy. Now during photosynthesis, light energy is captured by the green plants and they used to convert water, carbon dioxide and minerals into oxygen and energy rich organic compounds. Now all living things need food to stay alive, grow and get energy. Nutrition is the process by which the living things get or make food. Now organisms also need energy for other life processes that go inside them. And also the organisms need food for the energy needed for them to grow and survive. Now which are the life processes? Now we can see that is movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion and nutrition. So these all are the life process for which human or organism want. Topic is, do all organisms shows growth? Does the kurta you had 4 years back still fit you? You cannot wear it anymore, isn't it? You must have grown taller during these years. You may not realize it, but you are growing all the time and in few years you will become an adult. Young ones of animals also grow into adults. You would surely have noticed pups grow into adults. A chick hatched from an egg grows into a hen or a cock. Plants also grow. Look around you and see few plants for a particular type. Some are very small and young, some are bigger. They may be different stages of growth. Look at the plants after a few days and weeks. You may find that some of these have grown in size and shape. Growth seems to be common to all living things. Do you think non-living things show growth? No, they do not show growth because they don't eat food, they do not respire, they don't show movement. Okay, and also they do not produce babies. So and exactly they do not breathe also. So these are all of the reasons what make non-living things different from living things. Next, do all organisms respire? We can live without breathing. When we inhale, the air moves from outside to the inside of our body. When we breathe out, the air moves from inside our body to outside. Now this is the process of inhale and exhale of air. Breathing is the part of process called respiration. In respiration, some of the oxygen of the air we breathe in is used by the body We breathe out carbon dioxide produced in this process. Now let us find out the process of breathing in and out. This is called cellular respiration. The process by which cells in plants and animals break down sugar and turn it into energy, and this energy is used for our all whatever we do the work for growth and all other necessary things. Some animals may have different mechanism for the exchange of gases, which is a part of the respiration process. For example, we can take here earthworms breathe through their skin, their body surface, and we have learned that fishes have gills for using oxygen dissolved in water. So gills absorb oxygen from the air dissolved in water. Now what about plants? Now let us see about plants. Plants do respire. Okay, so for respiration, as all living organisms use oxygen to inhale, same way during respiration plants use oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. During photosynthesis, plants use carbon dioxide to produce food, and then they give out oxygen. Now whatever the amount of oxygen released in the process of photosynthesis is much more than the oxygen they use in respiration. And also the respiration in plants takes place in day and night both. So during respiration, plant use oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So here was the thing about the respiration process. Now, do all organisms respond to stimuli? How do you respond if you suddenly step on a sharp object like a thorn while walking barefoot? Obviously, you are going to take away your feet as you are going to feel a very sharp thing. Okay. Now, how do you feel when you see or think about your favorite food? Obviously, it is going to be a mouth watering. You suddenly move from a dark place into bright sunlight. What happens? Your eyes shut themselves automatically for a moment till they get adjusted to changed bright surroundings. Your favorite fruit, bright light and a thorn is about situation for some examples of changes in your surroundings. So we can say that changes in our surroundings that make us respond to them are called stimuli. Do other animals also respond to stimuli? Observe the behavior of animals when the food is served to them. Do plants also respond to stimuli? Flowers of some plants bloom only at night. Here are the examples are given. In some plants, flowers close after sunset. In some plants like mimosa, commonly known as touch-me-not, leaves close and fold when someone touches them. These are some examples of responses of plants towards changes in their surroundings. Now let us do one activity. Place the potted plants in a room little away from the window through which sunlight enters sometime during the day. Now continue watering the plants for a few days. Does the plant grow upright like plants out in the open? So you will notice that the plant bends in the direction of sunlight. It's not growing upright. So this is the way how this plant in the dark respond to the sunlight, which is its stimulus. So all things respond to the changes around them. And excretion. All organisms need food. Not all the food that is eaten is completely used. Only a part of it is utilized by the body. What happens to the rest? This has to be removed from the body as waste. Our body produces some waste in other life process also. So the process of getting rid of the waste by organism is known as excretion. Do plants excrete? They do, but not as seen in animals. The mechanism in plants are little different. Some plants find it possible to store the waste product within their parts in a way that they do not harm the part as a whole. Many plants eliminate waste by accumulation of waste in the vacuoles of aging life cell. Here you can see the gaseous excretory material are eliminated by diffusion through the stomata. The leaves will eventually die and fall off, removing the waste in the process, and the leaves fall. Next is in some plant waste product are stored as resin and gums in the old xylem. So here you can see the resin and gum picture. Now have you ever noticed a sticky, milky or oily substance occurring out from the bark? Now plants also excrete some waste substance into the soil, and here is some crystal calcium. Next is the examples, the outer skin of the onion. Some plants waste are very useful to human beings such as rubber, latex, gum, resin and essential oils like eucalyptus and sandalwood oil. Next is the rubber. Latex is used to produce gloves. So these all are the excretory material that is excreted by plants. So excretion is another characteristic common to all organisms. Organisms reproduce their own kind. Have you ever seen nest of some birds like pigeons? Many birds lay their eggs in the nest. Some of eggs hatch and young birds come out of them. So yes, we have seen the birds lay eggs which after hatching produce little young ones. Animals and humans reproduce their own kind. The mode of reproduction may be different in different animals. Some animals produce their young ones through eggs and some animals give birth to the young ones. Plants also reproduce. Like animals, plants also differ in the mode of reproduction. Some plants produces through seeds. Plants produce seeds which can germinate and grow into a new plant. Some plants also reproduce through part other than seeds. For example, part of potato with a bud grows into a new plant. And plant also reproduce through cutting stems. So we can have the example of a mehndi plant or a rose plant. So here is an activity for you to do it. All organisms move. In chapter 8 we discussed the various ways in which animals move. They move from one place to another and also show other body movements. Now what about plants? Plants are generally anchored in the soil, so they do not move from one place to another. However, various substances like water, minerals and the food synthesis by them move from one part to the other part of the plant. Have you noticed any other kind of movement in the plant? Have you noticed opening and the closing of the flowers? Do you recall some plants that show movement in response to certain stimuli? Yes, we have learned about the mimosa plant. Now here are the example of some non-living things. Now non-living things are moving. Of course, a bus, car, a small piece of paper, clouds and so on. Is there something different in these movements from the movements of the living beings? Yes, there is a difference. Let us find out. A car moves on the road but it cannot move on its own. It needs a driver to start an engine and move it. So car is a non-living thing. There is such a variety of living organisms, but all of them show some common characteristic as we have discussed, that is growth, movement, excrete waste, respond to stimuli and other. The common characteristic is that living beings die. Because organisms die, a particular type of organism can survive over thousands of years only if they reproduce their own kind. One single cell organism may die without ever reproducing, but the type of organism can exist only if there is reproduction. See that all living things seem to have some common characteristic. They all need food, respire, respond to stimuli, reproduce, show movement, grow and die. Do we find some non-living things that also show some of these characteristics? Car, bicycle, clocks and the water in the river move. They of course move, but the thing is they do not reproduce, they do not respond to stimuli or they do not respire. So this is the characteristic what make them different from living beings. The moon moves in the sky. The clouds grow in size right in front of our eyes. Can such things be called living? Of course not. We cannot call them livings because some of the characteristics are not shown by them, as already we have discussed. We ask ourselves, do these objects also show all the other characteristics of living things? No. In general, something that is living may have all the characteristics. But we have discussed while non-living things may not show all these characteristics at the same time. Is this always true? Do we always find that living things definitely show all the characteristics of the living that we have discussed? Do we always find that non-living things may show only some of these characteristics and never all of them. Yes, all the living things except plants that do not move from one place to another, other animals and human beings move, show the movement. So characteristic of all the living things is seen in the plants and animals as well as humans. To understand this a little better, let us take one specific example. Consider any seed, say moong. Is it living? It can stay in a shop for months and not show any growth or some of the other characteristic of life. However, we bring the same seed and plant in the soil, water it, and it turns into a whole plant. Did the seed need food? Did it excrete, grow, or reproduce when it was in the shop for many months? Now let us understand how the seed grow. For the germination of seed, first of all, water and sunlight is necessary. And after photosynthesis, the plant prepare food and grow. In the shop, the factors necessary for the germination of the moong seed was absent, so it was unable to grow. But as it was sown in the soil, all the characteristic of life like growth, excretion, reproduction was available for the moong seed, and thus it shows the germination and it grows. So for all this characteristic, we say that it is a living. Is life. Push your hand deep inside a sack of wheat. Do you find it is warm inside? There is some heat being produced inside the sack of wheat. The seeds respire and in that process give us some heat. We see that respiration is a process that takes place in seeds even when some of the other life process may not be very active. It may not be very easy to answer our question. What then is life? However, looking at all the diversity of living beings around us, we can conclude that life is beautiful. Yes, life is beautiful. Please look around you. Look around your surroundings. How beautiful nature is. Beautiful flowers, birds, animals and nature. So preserve nature and enjoy the beautiful life given by God. Children, please write down the difference between living and non-living things in your notebook. Please watch the video, try to understand. Thank you.